So today's another special day at the Crusader. We have an awesome guest, much smarter than me. I'm incredibly intimidated, and that's just something I have to deal with. Uh, our salutatorian, 36 on the ACT, a million on your SAT. That's a fact. Uh, Going to Alabama, Roll Tide, and man, just an overall awesome person. Abigail Weist, how you doing, Abigail?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
So what you been up to in this these strange quarantines?
I'm gonna be honest, it's kind of hard to stay busy and stay motivated, stuck in my house. Like whenever the whole quarantine started, I tried to stay active and I did a lot of painting and I did a lot of creative things that I wouldn't usually have time for. But then after a while, I think I just pretty much had exhausted all the options in my house. So stir craziness has definitely taken over in my household.
Well, I'm sure, yeah, cabin fever would be something that you have to deal with. Someone who's as busy as you, uh, yeah, that's it's weird just all of a sudden like having nothing going on.
Right. It's definitely been a change because I went from playing three sports, doing all kinds of tutoring and just different after school activities to basically having nothing to do, which is just a very big change, very unexpected. But I think as I've adjusted to it and as I've seen my friends adjust to it and stuff and the senior class, it's gotten a little bit easier. So that's good.
Well, yeah, and y'all just had graduation. I mean, it was different than any other graduation anyone's ever seen. But I mean, that had to be, comforting in some way to be able to see your classmates and deliver your speech. I mean, what were your thoughts on that?
Right. So graduation was definitely different than I think anybody expected it to be. But considering the circumstances, I think that the school put on a very good program. I didn't get to give my speech to my whole class, but I mean, they got to hear it in different classrooms or, streaming it online. So that was nice. And just being able to see everybody. And even if we're not close together, even if we're in different rooms, just all be together in the school one last time, I think it was really nice to get to do that. And I got to see some of my teachers that I hadn't seen in a while. Some of them started crying. It was an emotional time, but I really enjoyed the graduation ceremony, even if it wasn't what anybody typically expected.
It was nice to have something, you know.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's what the senior class was just worried about the whole time is that we were so looking forward to senior skip day, senior prank, our last day of school, getting to do all those fun memories and having all of that taken away. I think that we were all just kind of, expecting the next thing to be taken away too. We were like, okay, so this is gone. So now there's not going to be graduation or, the next thing is going to be taken away. And I think that seeing the school kind of rally behind us and having everybody kind of show support for the class of 2020 over the past couple months has just really reassured us that we're not alone in this, and that even though we didn't get to do some of those milestones and we didn't get to have some of those memories, we made brand new ones. So that's good.
Well, yeah, and I mean, you're part of history. This is something that you would never forget your graduation anyway. But now it's like, man, we rallied, we made it through that, and I think that's a testament to your class. Your whole class is, I mean, I've said it before, is my favorite senior class of all time. It's such an exceptional group of people, and if there's anybody who could get through it, it's you guys. So it's really cool to see that actually kind of come to fruition. I mean, so what? Yeah, and senior skip day, by the way, turned into like senior skip fourth quarter. So you kind of got that still.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, no, but I agree. Our senior class is a very good group. We're very small in comparison to the other classes at Sacred Heart, and so I think that that has brought us closer together. And even though we're not, getting to see each other in the classrooms all the time, we're still talking to each other on our group chat, and we're still seeing each other here and there, FaceTiming her. We had like on prom night, the night that prom was supposed to be, we had this big Zoom call for our whole class, and like some kids put on their prom dresses or their tuxes, and it's just been cool to see the whole senior class kind of like come together for each other, even the people who aren't necessarily like best friends. Like during this time, everybody's kind of going through a rough period just because life changed so quickly. But I think that, having our friends that are going through the exact same situation, because they're the only ones who truly understand what we're going through, I think that it's been a big help to be able to like rely on the other seniors.
Yeah, absolutely. You got that's who you lean on during times like these, and it makes me grateful for my Sacred Heart family, and I'm sure you feel the exact same way. Where you're so happy that you have people to lean on. Now, you individually have accomplished a ton, and you're only 18. You're only just going into college. You had a 36 on your ACT. What'd you have on your SAT?
My SAT, I think my highest is like a 1490. I took it once because I thought I was going to have to use it for national merit, but then they started accepting ACT, so then I just didn't take it again.
There you go. Well, and so you're a national merit finalist?
Yes, I'm a national merit finalist and I'm a national merit scholar.
Okay. Yeah, that's that's so awesome. Like, what do you think was the secret? All right, there's not a secret, but what was the key to you, kind of accomplishing these things?
Um, so I've always been fairly good at like standardized testing. Even since I was little, I'd always like try to push myself to do good on like the standardized testing that we would take in like elementary school. And whenever we got up to high school, I saw that there is like a 30 plus wall for the ACT, and I was like, little seventh grade me was just like, I want to be on that. So in like ninth and 10th grade, I remember I would just take this practice book to my room and I would just take practice tests until I knew that I could get the 30. And then I started taking the ACT more. My score started going up in that. And then those same skills translated over into the PSAT, which is what qualifies you for national merit semifinalist. So I guess just like me, I don't know, wanting to be on the 30 wall just like helped me sharpen my skills um, to do well enough to qualify for national merit and, get my 36 and all that stuff.
Yeah, do you have like a strategy when you go into to like cuz when I took standardized tests, I'd treat it kind of like a game, to lighten it up cuz the ACT you're there for hours. So you got to like figure out a way to make it like kind of fun to perform better. Like do you have like this is for the younger Crusaders. Like you got any like tips for them?
Okay, so I actually tutor in the ACT a lot. So I have tons of like tips and different things like that. If if anybody ever wants me to help them out, I'm more than happy to, but it's probably more than I can explain right now. But I guess thing, my main piece of advice is just time management, because, you're not going to be able to go into any standardized test knowing everything that's going to be on there. A lot of times it comes down to educated guesses, or honestly just like, well, I haven't picked B in a while. But the important thing is to understand when you know something and you can actually solve it and you can actually get the answer, versus when you don't know something and you just have to pick an answer and move on to conserve your time. Because that's what I see the biggest hang up is for a lot of kids, is that they're so focused on trying to get the right answer that they're stuck on number 3 for 30 minutes. And then, numbers 4 through 40, they have to bubble in a random answer. So time management is the key.
There you go. Time management. Everybody just mark C on your standardized tests and you're fine. From Abigail Weiss. She's a genius.
Right.
That's what you said, right? No.
Absolutely.
I remember taking an ACT tutorial class and whatever, and man, the best advice I got was, hey, go hang out with the people who think they just nailed it. like the people who aren't really concerned about it. Because if you go and hang out with the kids, you're like, I have to get this, and they're stressed out. You just try and keep it positive, which I'm sure kind of sounds like that's what you did. To get, man, 36 out of 36, that's really impressive. That's so cool.
Thank you.
So you're going to Alabama, Roll Tide. Uh, what made you decide to go to Alabama? I mean, you have a 36 on your ACT. You could go literally anywhere. So what how'd you come to this decision?
Well, for a while, I thought that I was going to go to USM just because it was the only college I'd ever toured. It was the only college I ever knew anything about. But then, whenever I got to right before 11th grade, I started checking out some different colleges, and I didn't even think of Alabama as an option until I went there for the first time. And immediately, like as I stepped on campus, just the atmosphere, everything was so inviting and welcoming and high energy, and just it just definitely seemed like a place that I would fit in. Like it felt like home as soon as I stepped on campus. And once I toured and I found out more about the academics and about the specific programs that I wanted to get into, it just kept getting better. Like the more people that I met, everybody was just so like happy to be there, and just the school spirit was insane. And that's exactly the kind of atmosphere that I really thrive in. So it just worked out to be perfect.
Oh yeah, that campus is beautiful too. And I don't know if you knew this, but their football team's pretty good too.
Yeah. I've heard that.
It's their best kept secret. Well, that's really cool. Do you know what you're going to study when you get there?
So right now I'm going in with a major in history. I'm keeping my options pretty open. I'm not gonna worry too much about deciding exactly what I want to do right away. But I just know that history has a lot of potential job opportunities that I'd be interested in. But I'm just excited to get there and to take a lot of different classes and find out what I like and what I don't like, and just start narrowing down what I want to do.
Yeah, and you don't, I know history runs in the family. Your father's a prolific history professor, and yeah, don't worry about if that's not what you do forever. I think that's my main advice to students and to young people is like, you could be into history, you could be into something completely different, and it's okay. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm into. Being into different things it's good. That's really good for you.
Absolutely. And I'm just excited as I go on to college to have that opportunity to like try out different things. I'm excited to find classes that I love, and I'm also excited to find out classes, that I hate. And I'm going to be like, well, I definitely don't want to do that. And that's definitely not where I see my future going. But it's just exciting because I don't know, there's just so many options, and everything's worked out so well to this point to get me to, where I can have those options to choose from and just have that time to explore, all that is out there. So it's an exciting time. Can't wait.
It's arguably the most exciting time because yeah, and you've had so much support from your family, from your Sacred Heart family, and now going out into the world. I mean, you're ready for whatever. And I think the great thing about Sacred Heart is that if you ever have to come back or you need a soft place to land, Sacred Heart ain't going anywhere. You know where to find everybody. We're Sacred Heart's your neighbor, basically. So you always have that comfort going forward that you have a soft place to land, some place to come back to. So what are you looking forward to? I mean, are you thinking past college? Like what would you do if you did history? Would you go to grad school? How would you further your education? I mean, I know that's kind of a stock question to somebody but you've been so good at your own education. Like, do you have plans past that?
Yes. So I definitely plan on going to grad school. Right now, I'm still leaning towards, again, pursuing a PhD in history. I'm not sure if that'll change, but there's a couple other career paths that I'm considering, and pretty much all of them require grad school or med school or law school or some sort of, you know, education after college or after undergraduate at least. And so once I finish my freshman year and all that stuff at Alabama, I'll probably go on to get my master's somewhere. I don't know, but I'm just keeping those options open right now. But it does look like grad school will be in my future.
Yeah, that's really cool. Like being able to think that far ahead is certainly a valuable attribute. Now, the big news we've heard recently is you're a presidential scholar. So, does that mean you get to be president now?
Not quite, not quite.
Okay.
So what the Presidential Scholars Program is like they choose two seniors from each state, and traditionally they would fly you out to DC for about a week with the teacher of your choice, and you would get to meet the president and I think like the Secretary of Education and all kinds of really important people. You'd have a lot of different meetings and like meet and greets, and then there would be an award ceremony and all that. But in the email notification, they said that they were going to be doing a lot of this stuff virtually. So I'm not exactly sure what the ceremony is going to look like, but hopefully, I don't know, I'll get some of the same contacts because that would be nice.
Yeah, wow. A trip, man. They got to do something where you get to go like next year or whenever this is all cleared up. That's so cool. You and so you're one of two representatives from Mississippi who got it. Now, what'd you have to do to get that? Like I imagine it's not just, putting your name in a hat.
Right. So it's a really long process. It's to even apply, it's by invitation only. So I got my formal invitation probably a few months ago, and that's mainly based off of ACT and SAT scores and also just academic achievement overall. And then after that, you have to write roughly like 10 essays about various topics. Like I think mine ranged from anything to traveling to basketball to I don't know, my favorite teacher. And then after you submit all of your essays, then they start like actually narrowing down who's going to be a nominee, who's going to be a semifinalist, and that process takes a good few months. And so they finally told me that I was nominated as a semifinalist in April, and they said that they were going to give us the decision in early May. And then early May came around, we didn't hear anything. Mid-May came around, we didn't hear anything. My mom was like calling them every day. She was like, "When are you guys going to tell us if she won or not?" And finally, they told us yesterday that I was the presidential scholar. And it was just, I don't know, kind of surreal, I guess.
Yeah, I imagine it would be. That's that's really cool. That's really cool. 10 essays. Whew, man. And you're doing that on top of all your other schoolwork, and I mean that's impressive. Yeah, and let's not undersell the fact that you played basketball on a historic Lady Satyrs team. What other sports do you play?
So I was on the basketball team and I was on the cheer team. And then before the softball season got cut short, I was on the softball team as well.
Yeah. Okay. So, those of you who think you're stressed out and have too much going on, Exhibit A. It's fine. You'll be you'll be all right. She did it.
The big thing that I'm probably going to remember about high school is just always having something to do. Like I would get done with school and then I would have at least one practice. Honestly, a lot of the time it would end up being two practices after school for various sports or like STEM club or whatever. And then I would get home and then I would have to say, all right, what essay am I writing today? Am I writing an essay for a college application? Am I writing an essay for, I don't know, a scholarship? Because that's another big thing that I don't think that people warn you about whenever you're about to get into senior year is just the number of essays that you have to write for like scholarships. Because I mean, everybody wants a scholarship, everybody wants to apply, but for each scholarship, even if it's only like a couple $100, they're like, all right, write 20 essays, send in 3 pictures, and then maybe we'll choose you. So it's just a lot. It's been a busy year.
Well, yeah, it has to be a lot because it's about money. At the end of the day, like I don't you don't give people money for free. And especially when it's that competitive. It's serious business. I remember that too. Senior year, kind of going like, wait, what do you want me to do to go to this school, whatever it is? Like, man, this is a lot of work to just get in. But that's the whole point, is if they want to know who can actually ACT, who can perform on a Saturday morning for 3.5 hours. Who's your salutatorian, which means that's what I always struggled with. I was good at the standardized test, but the GPA, that's consistency. Like, you can't have peaks and valleys. You gotta stay solid. So that's what's so impressive about what you've been able to accomplish, is have that good Saturday, for your ACT, but then also be consistent over the course of 4 years. I think that's something that if you can maintain that into adulthood, look out, world. You got a bright future. I don't know if anyone's ever told you that, but you got a very bright future, Abigail.
Thank you.
All these accomplishments they're so impressive. It's so just great to have that happen at a school like Sacred Heart. Now, as a person, do you have anything to say to your seniors? I know you got to give your speech. I know it was virtual. I know this is also virtual. But do you have a message for your fellow classmates going into the next stage of their lives?
So for the senior class, I guess if I had to say something, it would be that obviously I'm thankful for the time that we had together, even if, we didn't get that last 9 weeks. We had, all that time, all those years before that. And there was never a dull moment with that class. And just, we had our ups and downs. It was not always like, sunshine and rainbows, but whenever we needed each other, like, we would always come together, which I think was a really powerful thing, that I'm definitely going to remember about Sacred Heart. Just like, no matter how far we go, because I know that, we've got kids going to Fordham, Rice, all over the place, and just, no matter how far we go, I think that we're always going to think of each other as family. Like, they can always lean on me no matter what state they're in. I'll be there in a drop of a hat if I can be. And I think that feeling is mutual. So, like, to the senior class, just like, I guess I would just say thank you for the memories and just the bond that we have. And then for the like upcoming classes, I guess it goes by really quickly. I know that everybody says that, but like, you don't realize how quickly it does go by until it's over, and then you're like, oh, wait a second, they were right. It's over now. That's weird. But like, I guess just cherish the time that you have at Sacred Heart, even if it's a bad day, even if you have like a hard test or something, because like, you never know. Again, like with my class, we didn't know that like March 13th was going to be our last day. We didn't get to say our goodbyes and stuff. We didn't get to have those last few days to really like let it hit us that this is all coming to an end. So just like cherish the time that you do have, because again, like, we never know if something like this is going to happen again. Hopefully, obviously it won't, but just take advantage of the time that you have here, because it is a really special place. And I think that the experience that Sacred Heart offers is it's very special, because not only do you have a really close group of kids just because of the size of the grades, and just because everybody's kind of going through the same thing. It's not like a big public school or something, but also the teachers here really do care about you. I mean, I've had, like, just the other day, Miss Wilson came to my house just on a random day. She gave me a little graduation present. She social distanced, obviously, but it was just so cool to have one of my teachers just care so much about me, to just come over and just check in on me. And I think that that's a really cool experience that Sacred Heart offers that you might not get at a lot of other schools is just that closeness and that sincerity and just how genuine everybody is. So I guess to like the younger kids, just, I don't know, take advantage of that and relish it, because again, it does go by fast. So
Wise words. Wise words. And you're right. It's one of those, when you're in it, it feels like it's moving slowly, and then when you look back, you're like, "Wait, no, can I do it again, or can we slow it down, or I'll appreciate it this time, I promise." Yeah, that's one of those. And speaking of teachers, I don't want to leave out Miss Betsy McIntyre. She's the teacher you chose for the presidential scholar. Like, y'all would have gotten to go on that trip if we didn't have the quarantines. I mean, how did you come to that decision?
I mean, Miss Betsy has always been just such a big part of my life. Obviously, I've grown up with her because Mary's in my grade and stuff, but especially over the past couple years, not only through cheer and through her actually being my teacher, but just as like a person and as a friend, she's just always been a role model for me. She's always been somebody that I can rely on. I can't tell you how many times I've come to her crying with something, and just like hearing her saying that it'll be okay just somehow makes it okay. Like, she's just a really genuine person, but she also stands up for what she believes in, and just her commitment to herself and her morals, and just how confident she is and how she always stands up for what she believes in, I think is just so inspiring to me. And so I've always kind of like said, I want to be like her one day. I want to have those characteristics. I want to be that committed to my ideals, and I want to be that person that people can rely on, and I want to be that genuine. And so I guess whenever it came time for me to like choose, I think that the prompt was like, choose a teacher who's made the biggest impact on your life. I mean, all of my teachers at Sacred Heart have made a big impact on me. I love them all. But I think that the decision for me was pretty clear that it was going to be Miss Betsy, just because of just everything she's done for me. The highs and the lows, the good memories and the memories that aren't so good.
Yeah, wow. That's awesome, Abigail. I'm glad you said that. That's really cool. And yeah, I think that's one of those things too, where especially when you're young, it's cool to not like school. And I was like, growing up, I went to Sacred Heart. There wasn't a high school yet, but I went there 2nd through 8th grade, and it was very cool to not like uniforms, and and I say cool like sarcastically. Like, it was cool to, oh, I don't like this school. It's too small, and it's this, that, and the other. And as people, as human beings, we kind of get caught up in that, and it's so nice to see somebody that can be this reflective at this young an age, because now, I mean, I'm back at Sacred Heart. Here I am. I would love to wear a uniform, because then I don't have to figure out what I'm wearing in the morning. Like, I love that it's small, because everybody, and you have these relationships with people where it means something. It's very valuable, and I think people can really thrive in that community. And more people need to know about it. So, Abigail, you are an incredible ambassador to the school, to your family. I mean, and it will be an incredible asset at Alabama Roll Tide. And and man, we're all so proud of you, and can't wait to see what you do next. But just remember, whatever you do, whatever you decide to do, just do it with the same enthusiasm that you went through high school, which is, for most people, the least enthusiastic time of their lives. So just do whatever you want to do. Just keep that fire, and man, I can't wait to see what you do next. It's so exciting. Thanks for sitting down with me. I needed this. This was great.
Thank you for having me.
That's great. You have a good one.
You too.
That was so... Whoa. Okay. That was great. That was so great. Wow, Abigail. What an